Good evening and welcome to the Hawarden City Office meeting on Wednesday, February 11th, 2015. All present are staff, council, and myself. Opportunities for comment again on open discussion on 1C. First standard agenda item is the approval of the January 28th, 2015 council meeting minutes. They've been in your packet. Is there a motion for that approval? There's been a motion by Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. Any further questions or clarifications? All in favor then of the approval of the January 28th council meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, that passes 4-0. Next is approval of claims for payment for February the 11th. I'll start to my left with questions from Tim, please.
None.
Travis, any questions?
None.
Okay. Larry, questions on
No.
payments? Monty, anything?
So moved.
Been a motion by Monty. Is there a second? Seconded by Tim for claims for payment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, that again passes 4-0. Anyone wish to approach for open business from the community? Seeing none, then we'll move on to the mayor's report. We want to congratulate James Bushby on being selected the Fireman of the Year as announced at the 123rd Fireman Ball. Also, longevity awards were to John Strong for 40 years, Jeff Carr for 30 years, Josh Hunnick for 5 years, and Denny Eisma for 30 years. We thank each of the fire department members for their dedication and service to our community. We thank our community and the surrounding communities and area for their support in helping the Hawarden Regional Healthcare reach their fundraising goal. This is a very important expansion and renovation of our local hospital, and it's wonderful to see the support that it has received. The Hawarden Area Arts Council is co-sponsoring with the Hawarden Public Library the touring production of Vang, a drama about recent immigrant farmers. This will be held on Saturday, February the 21st at 2 p.m. right here at the Hawarden Community Center. The Hawarden Area Arts Council promotes the arts in many ways in our community. We thank them for all they do, and I hope that many will attend this production on the 21st. As always, there are many activities to enjoy in Hawarden that are upcoming at the West Sioux schools, at our churches, our library, and our county parks. Please take advantage of these opportunities to spend some time with your family and friends right here in Hawarden. And lastly, my thanks to Payne and Rodney and James for putting their names on the ballot to fill the city council seat. The election will be Tuesday, March the 3rd. I'd encourage everyone then to attend and vote on that. Anything from the council this evening? Hearing none, we'll move to staff reports, and we'll start with Tom, please.
A couple of items. We're planning on citywide cleanup again. It's going to be May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's a little ways out there, but hopefully you can do some planning and get rid of a few things if you need to. And the only other thing I have is the east alley of Main Street. We are taking the poles down now, and it's cleaning up quite nicely. And I don't know if the council's interested. We could give you a spreadsheet on the salvage items that we're taking down, like the transformers, and we're keeping track of the wire and how much we're getting for that for salvage. The wire we try to get rid of fairly quickly, so we don't wait for the prices to go up and down so much, as we don't like to have a lot of it around. So maybe I'll do that at the next meeting, get something in the council report. That's all I have.
Good, thanks. It's looking a lot better already, isn't it? That's a lot of stuff there.
Cleaning up nicely.
Good. Thanks to your crew for doing that and staying safe with that. Brenda, anything from your point of view tonight?
Nothing for me.
Okay.
No, thanks.
Thank you very much. Gary Tucker.
I would just like to mention that at our last meeting, we talked about sending a letter out to our cable customers, advising them of the increase. We've been waiting for some labels to show up. They finally showed up, I believe, yesterday or today. So those letters will be going out tomorrow to all of our cable customers, explaining the increase, how much it is, and the reason for it. So that'll give them a couple months prior to, if the ordinance passes, when it will go into effect, so should give them adequate time to hopefully respond if they have any questions or concerns.
Thanks. Moving on with staff reports. Jim, anything from you?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, thanks. Mike, anything from the police?
Nothing for me either.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for staff before we move on? Hearing none, then we'll go to other agenda items. Agenda item number 3, hospital update, please, by Jason Pullman.
Good evening. Just to give you an update on the building project, we have received bids on the last Thursday, and we are currently analyzing those right now. Of the 28 different bid categories, we had 17 bids that came in at what was budgeted or below. So that's a good sign. The other, we had 5 bid categories that we didn't even get a bid on, and so those will have to go out for a rebid. So we're looking at that. We also have several bids that were a little bit more than we had budgeted for, and so we're working through that process right now. And I think we should have a better understanding by the end of week, Friday or Monday, and then we'll have to decide. Ultimately, we'll have to bid the 5 bid categories that we didn't get a bid on out again to see if we can get some competitive bids on those categories. And the categories that we didn't get bids on were concrete, casework, flooring, specialty, which is curtains and drapes and those types of things, and then fire stop. Those are the 5 areas that we did not get a bid on of the categories. So we'll rebid those, and we're looking at the other things too to see what we could do to review the bids. So ultimately, with us not getting bids on those 5 categories, it will push the project back another month, just because we need to get bids on there. And the USDA will not award any bids unless we have all bids bid out. And so we have to make sure we get bids for all those categories. So that's what we'll do, and we'll move forward. So, any questions?
Questions for Jason? Okay, thanks again for being with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Very important to keep the community updated.
Yeah, thank you.
Agenda item number 4, this would be the second reading of an ordinance 692. This ordinance increasing the internet network access rates and cable television rates. As we talked at the last meeting, that was the first reading. This would be second, and still then one more reading would be held if this passes tonight at the February 25th meeting. So any discussion of the second reading, or is there a motion for that? So moved. Been a motion by Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Larry. Any further questions or comments?
Have you talked to ACS?
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
We tried, but he didn't show up.
There's been a motion and a second for the second reading in ordinance 692. Call then for a roll call vote, please.
Kurth.
Aye.
Bowder.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Harvey.
Yep.
On a 4-0 roll call vote, second reading of ordinance 692 passes. Again, the third reading will be on our agenda for the next meeting. Again, this evening, we're going to have a general review of the fiscal year 2015-16 general fund and special fund budget. This will be kind of the final review for questions and comments from the council. And I'll kind of turn this section again over to Mr. Tucker, please.
Again, I think we've gone over the utility budget a couple different times, and I'm not sure, there didn't seem to be any questions in regards to that, so I'm not going to delve into that unless you guys have further questions or concerns about the utility piece. General fund budget, again, I think, we need to look at some areas over the course of the next year here, and as we've noted, the general fund does not have money to pay for any increases. So keep in mind that any increase in the general fund budget comes out of utilities. There is no money in the general fund revenue side to offset increases in the general fund budget. So anytime you have a line item in the general fund that increases, the money comes from the utilities. So, which in turn will eventually mean higher utility rates, because that's the only way you can, we still have to fund our utilities as well. So the importance, there's a huge importance in keeping the general fund budget items under control. So we did go through at the last meeting all the any of the changes or the increases that we were going to see in the next year. Total expenditures, after that's all said, the total expenditures in the general fund, there's only an $18,000 increase, so it's the increase is fairly insignificant. But again, I think we have to look at some of the individual, possibly some of the individual line items, and at least over the course of the next year, have some conversations.
Council and staff have been doing a wonderful job the last number of years of getting the budget, for lack of a better word, pretty well lean and mean, and transfers out from the utilities very at a lower rate. And I commend the council and staff for doing that the last number of years. These budgets have been real pleasing to see.
It's going to continue to be a challenge. Our general funds, again, our property tax revenues don't increase at the rate that our general fund expenditures are increasing, and if that continues, the money again has to come out of our utilities.
Right.
And we're trying to reduce those transfers, not increase them. So we need to really keep a handle on those.
At this point in our community, we don't have the luxury of increased property taxes. And
that's right.
do the council have any questions or concerns as we review this again one more time? Timing-wise, on February the 25th at our next meeting then will be the presentation of the budget and set the public hearing then. So public hearing then for this would be for March the 15th. And as always, if you have questions, Gary's and staff are available. If you have anything that you want to direct toward them, the meeting or whatever. So anything from council then for that? Okay, hearing nothing, then we will move to agenda item number 6. This was a consideration of Larry Van Wyde, who offered to purchase real estate located east of Harvest Inn property. We were told this afternoon that at this point that person's not interested in the offer, so I would take a motion to table that consideration.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Travis. Is there a second? Seconded by Tim. All in favor of tabling that consideration to purchase real estate, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 4-0. Our consent agendas are 2 liquor licenses, the request for the Hawarden Golf Club for renewal of the Class C liquor license, and it continues on to say a corporate board position change. That just means that there's been a board member change on the license itself. so it's all part of that consent agenda. That's just making that up to date. Isn't that correct, Brenda?
That's correct.
And then the other request is from Dollar General for off-premise sales of beer, wine with Sunday sales. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda? There's been a motion by Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. Questions? All in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 4-0. Agenda item number 8, the Hawarden City Council would like to go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 388.9 to discuss marketing and pricing strategies, proprietary information where the competitive position would be harmed by public disclosures not required of competitors and no public purpose is served by disclosure. Following that, we will come back into open session for adjournment or any other business. Is there a motion to go into closed session for Section 388.9?
So move.
Moved by Larry. Is there a second?
Aye.
Seconded by Travis. Roll call vote, please, to go into closed session.
Harvey.
Yep.
Olson.
Aye.
Kurth. Bowder.
Aye.
On a 4-0 roll call vote, the Hawarden City Council will be going into closed session, and that will be taped.